Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I have in front of us more than dozen different types of opal, if you include subcategories from the same field. So both Australian and international, it's all over the shop. This is the giveaway parcel as well for the recent winner. It's probably the most varied parcel I've had, which gives me an opportunity to show off a bunch of opal to you guys before I ship it off. So maybe I'll move them out of the way, clear a bit of a hole in the middle, and we can have a look at a couple. So I have so many videos on a lot of this material. So Cooper Pedy in here, I've got a bit of shell, a bit of white, a bit of crystal, a bit of dark opal. It's yeah, if you want to see this kind of stuff, definitely check out any of the other videos on the channel. I've got heaps of it, but there's nothing overly exciting in there. A couple with color, but all in all, just a bit to practice with. With the boulder opal, same thing again. I've got so much. I've included in here a Yower nut, so Yower nut, like a little unsliced one. I've got a chunk of fairy opal. That's the kind of like Andamuka matrix. I've got a lot of experiments underway with this to treat and stabilize it, so they will be released on the channel very soon, maybe even the next video depending on when this comes out and when that comes out. And then a couple of chunks of regular boulder opal. I work boulder opal the most, so it is all over the channel. Feel free to check it out. Lightning Ridge I don't work as much, but you've got Black Opal Direct, and he has probably hundreds of videos working much higher quality Lightning Ridge than this. So this is just a bunch of practice material, but I've made sure to include a bit of crystal, a bit of black, a bit of grey. I didn't have any white, or at least I couldn't find any, unless you count this sandy one as white. But really it's just a little bit of a shell in its host stone. I thought I'd keep a couple really rough pieces. I didn't want to include too many rubs or anything like that in this, so just a couple knobbies for a bit of experimentation, and then a couple little ones with a bit of colour. If I flip him over, he will make a nice green and gold stone. You need to have a couple of good stones to be able to work on once you've practiced on the others. Always practice on potch, and when you got that down pat, you can move on to things with colour. Otherwise you'll burn through hundreds of dollars really quickly, maybe even thousands. One that I'm never really happy with, Mintaby, a bit of white, bit of black, bit of grey, all the shades. Didn't have any crystal opal that I could find, or did I? Nah, none that are pure crystal opal, but I think it's quite a bit of variety. You might say that this stone's going to cut real well, but there's maybe a 20-80 chance. 20 being that it works out, because this stuff, check it out on the channel, just type Mintaby, and you will see that it is, most of the time, pretty disappointing. Though Pulitzer Opal sent me a couple pieces that were really good, but we cheated because I saw him cut other chunks of that piece prior to me getting it. Ethiopian Opal, two different fields. So you can see there, you got your standard Wellow Opal. This should be really good experience. Typically when people win the giveaway parcels, they don't have a lot of opal already, and many of us have not worked Ethiopian because we get scared off, but trust me guys, it is not that scary. It is super fun, and check out the colours. Even if you just want to keep this rough chunk, then do that, because this is very stable the way it is. Just keep it out of water. This one on the other hand is typically not very stable. So this is that chocolate opal, but you can see it also does have great colour. Surprisingly, red is the most common. So yeah, some nice red flashes in there. And then we get into some of the weirder opals. So weirder opals, the worst of the lot, Indonesian wood opal. So that is actually kept in oil. I better write that on there. So I've just kept a little secondary pouch of a bit of oil. All it looks like are black twigs. Yes, there's a little bit of color, but it's yeah, the oil throws me off. Some of the pieces look real cool, but oil is not great. One more Aussie opal that I don't show very often is the pink opal from Western Australia. This one's already pre-cut because I don't have any of it in the rough. I probably should get some because I bought a bunch of this pre-cut stuff and I basically just recut it all because I just wanted to play with the material and see how it feels. And it feels a lot like many other potches, or a little bit like dendritic opal, because it's got a lot of transitions through it, and the materials do change and have different hardnesses. It is actually quite smooth sailing though, once you get a bit of practice on it, and comes up with these nice little patterns. It's more of a picture stone most of the time. This one looks a bit like ice cream. Now we're off to Mexico. Leopard opal. This is a little bit like treated fairy opal, but this is not treated. This is just how it comes out of the ground. It's got a very black body tone, and it's just got these little speckles of color all throughout. It's pretty fun material. You can do whatever you want with it. It's a little bit grainy and can fall apart a bit, but fairly stable. And if you get a good face on it, it looks really nice. Very similar one, Honduran opal. So once again, looks a bit like treated fairy opal, or maybe a little bit more like Endomuka Matrix. But once again, that's just how it is. It comes out pretty dark colored and just has a lot of little speckles all throughout. I've only been able to include a small piece because I don't actually have a lot of that. I really need to find some more. Spencer opal. Much like Cooper Pedy, you can see it there, a little bit of host material, a little bit of the opal. So it's a white opal, a little bit of color in it, very much like Cooper Pedy, but far less stable. Most of the time it will crack and craze and go a little bit crazy. But you know what? It's nice to have a little piece of it and say that you've got a little piece of it. That's what we love as collectors. Sticking to the US, Candy Opal from Utah. That's that classic red and white bandy looking opal. I've got a massive chunk of it. Managed to break a little piece off. Good old Candy Opal. Once again, we're back in Mexico for some Fire Opal. I've kept this one in a little bit of water in the pouch, and you can see it's still a common opal technically. It's got a color, but it doesn't have any play of color. So it's just a fire body tone. That's the orange body tone, orange red. Not any sparkle in this one. It's not impossible, but it is much rarer to be able to get that play of color in it. This one, it's just a nice, beautiful orange glow. And yeah, just kept in a little bit of water because otherwise they will dry out and craze a lot of the time. Somehow this guy snuck to the back. We're back in Australia. Frequent flyer miles are soaring. So back in Endomuka. Got a couple pieces of Matrix. Just a nice little flashy green one and then a nice little blue one. Just a bit to play around with. Endomuka Matrix. Because the giveaway winner is a South Aussie, Endomuka Matrix is super easy to come by, so I'm not going to focus on that one. I'd rather share the joys of all the other random international opal that I've collected over the years. And some other opals that are more, that you can find in a lot of different places. I can't actually remember where this one was from in particular. I think it's an Aussie one, but dendritic opal. A nice little chunk of it to play with. It cuts surprisingly difficult. It's quite tricky. You can see the little dendritic parts. Those are like a metal oxide that kind of gets dispersed within the opal. It's got a little bit of a green body tone, this one. And the transition when you're carving along or cutting along on wheels, you don't feel it as much on wheels, but you do carving. When you hit these little pockets, they do cut very differently. Super differently. So, got to be careful with that. This will take a little bit of practice, but hopefully there's enough there to have a good crack. Opalized wood, like petrified wood, but opalized. I tried to pick a piece that had some nice tree-like features. If I can find the slide, you can see it here. There's all these nice little bits that make it really look like wood, but yeah, I don't think this stuff will burn too well. I do like the stuff. Cutting it, yeah, not typically that great because it's so porous that you struggle to get a nice shine to it unless you can get a nice flat smooth piece. Always worth playing with though. Worst case scenario, you'll destroy a side of the specimen and then you flip it over and look at that, brand new. I've left this one last. So this one I bought as a swamp opal from Louisiana, but I haven't been able to confirm really either of those things. It's not something that I know or that I've been able to talk to anyone about, so yeah. If anyone in the US is from Louisiana, let me know if you've got opal. Otherwise, it could have come from somewhere else. It was a big chunk and I broke a piece off it. In fact, I'll probably take some to the lab and just even do a quick check to see if it is actually opal to begin with. That much at least I can do. But yeah, I'm always going to have a little bit of a question mark with the swamp opal and Louisiana because I cannot be 100% sure. And that's it. If I bring them all back with a bit of a zoom out because it's a massive bundle, I think this is the biggest collection of Australian and international opal that I've given out so far. I am really hoping that is a huge boost to the collection for the giveaway winner and future giveaway winners. This is kind of what you're looking at. Each time I try to make them a little bit better. Who knows, I might have got a good supply of some other random assorted opals. And if so, enter the giveaways by following the channel. Try not to miss one when they pop up. I leave them open for quite a long time, like 2 months or so. So you got heaps of time to get in. I'll try my best to share them on Facebook. I always forget. I don't really like sharing my videos all around the internet, but make sure you guys are here. Make sure you guys enter, and who knows, the next one could be you. Everyone's got an equal chance, except for the channel members that get one little extra bonus point, but it's pretty hard for them to win it because there's always a couple hundred entries. However, this time, this one is going to a channel member, so hopefully she avoids watching this video if she wants to be surprised in the mail. I've already given a heads up on the title name, but it's good for everyone to see a bunch of different opal. If you've got your own collection and you've seen a couple on here that you haven't got, definitely chuck them in Google. You'll be able to find them pretty easily, most of them. And most of them are much cheaper than the likes of the old Aussie Lightning Ridge. So you can actually build up the rest of this collection quite quickly. Anyway, good luck on your carving. I'm going to get back to it. And also, good luck in the future to see if you guys can try your hand at winning a parcel of this as well. Or just some tools. I just want to help people get going. Anyway, carving time. Catch you later, guys.